Broadcasting around the world on the internet 24 hours a day at www.odysseytv.org. This is Odyssey Instructional Television, a program of the San Bernardino County Regional Occupational Program.
Welcome to another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, along with Caden right here. And we're at Allen's Flowers in Victorville. 7th and Mojave is where we are. It's about flowers, toys, fun things, and so much more right here on this show. 7th and Mojave. In fact, we're going to meet a couple graduates, alumni of Victor Valley High School. What year did they graduate? Stick around. You'll find out. In fact, they sat next to each other during graduation. How about that? Allen's Flowers is where we are. Caden's here. You ready to have a good time? We are. We hope you'll stay with us right here, simply because Allen's Flowers is where we are. It's all about blooming flowers today, because you ought to know. Stay with us, everybody. Flower time coming up next at Allen's Flowers. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. And I told you we're in Victorville, California today. In fact, we're just adjacent to where we're all located, where Odyssey Television is, at Victor Valley High School. We're at 7th and Mojave. That's right. That's right. We're just off 6th and Mojave. First off, let's introduce you.
My name is Jim Skirvin.
And Jim, this is?
Phyllis Skirvin.
Well, wait a minute. You're married?
Yes, sir. We've been married for almost 20 years.
Well, there's more to the story than that. Also, you went to school just up the street, right?
We did. Graduated in 1968 from Victor Valley High School.
So you're a jackrabbit.
We are a jackrabbit.
Family.
That's right.
Well, more than that, you told me you even sat next to each other at graduation?
That's right. We sat next to each other in the stadium in 1968.
Give me one of your favorite teachers' names from Victor Valley High School back when you graduated in 68.
Well, we liked Mr. Sawaya because that's how we met in his class. Okay. She sat in front of me in that class.
What class was that?
That was history.
Did you learn anything, or did you pay attention to him?
I think I was copying his paper.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, there's some interesting story here, I've got to tell you, and we're going to find out more about that as we go along. But we're here at Allen's Flowers is where we are. In fact, we've had centerpieces from Allen's Flowers on our sets before at our Christmas parades, and it's from these folks right here that made it possible. So we are happy to be here on this show today. Now, we're going to learn some things. I've learned a few things from you already. When it comes to this type of business, why this?
Well, when I got out of the Army, Phyllis worked here. Mm-hmm. So I did a few odd jobs, but eventually I ended up here working part-time with her, and then the store in Hesperia became available for sale, and her and I bought the store in Hesperia, and then about 11 years ago, this store became available for sale, and we bought this store.
So you started working in this industry right after school?
No, about 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 15 years ago, and I was a driver. So I started out a driver and worked my way up.
Well, you had to do some other interesting things, so let's talk about that real quick. He told me, off camera, that you have all the talent. You're the talent in the group. True?
Oh, well, I hope so.
True? Is that
That's true. That's very true.
So when we talk about creativity and making all this stuff happen, what's going to go out, what you're going to see here today, it boils down to her in this business.
That is exactly right. I can do a lot of things. I do a lot of driving. I can do a lot of sales, but I can't make a flower arrangement.
Well, you also told me, and I learned you do all the maintenance. You upkeep all those vehicles, so it's a total package.
That's how we've been able to stay in business, by us doing things. She does what she does best, and I do what I do best.
All right. So what you do best is what? How do you do this?
I arrange the flowers. If you have a party, if you have a function, then I go and I look at it and see what the venue is, and we make it happen.
What is the process, though, for flowers? This refrigerator, all the flowers in there, so beautiful. All those arrangements ready to go. I mean, we take a good look at all that. And do you go to the flower market, big flower market in L.A., right? Is that where it's at?
Yes, we do. We go to the flower market. We have other resources for our flowers and our products, and we go where we can get a good price for a good product, so we can pass it on to our customers.
Well, when you do pass that on to the customers and you're going for that price, the flower market, now is that pretty much like the food business down there? Does that thing open at 2 or 3 in the morning?
Yes, it does, and that's Jim's job.
So you're the one that heads for the flower market every day.
I'm the flower guy, that's right.
Is this an everyday type thing?
No, I go once a week, and then we have a truck that comes up 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. So I'm able to buy off of the truck if it's necessary, and most of the time we're able to deliver it ourselves, bring it ourselves.
All right, talk about, Phyllis, give me a week view then, if we're talking about that sort of a situation. Do you project what you're going to need? Do you look at your orders? How does that work?
Yes, we do project what we're going to need, and we have we have Mother's Day coming up, so we have already placed a lot of our orders for Mother's Day, and we base it on last year's. We keep our records.
Well, what's the big Mother's Day is May. What are we talking about? What's the popular thing? Red roses obviously popular for Mom. Yellow roses probably popular. What else?
Spring mixes is really the most popular thing. We do a lot of spring mixes. They have all the daffodils and the iris and all the pretty colors in it. And so people will call and say her favorite flower is iris, so we'll make something with iris in it. Or her favorite flower is pink roses, then we make something with pink roses. So it's pretty much geared to what their favorite is.
What about keeping the store stocked with things that are the unexpected needs?
We have baby arrangements, those that have bereavement. We have get wells. We have everything in there, so you can come in if you're in a hurry and just pick something up, and so it's ready in the cooler.
What is the biggest part of the business, the biggest part of doing this type of business?
Probably the delivery business is a big business because we get people that got birthdays and sick and all that kind of stuff, and we need to be responsive. And of course, wedding and funeral, those are the time-sensitive ones. The rest of the stuff we usually work at a.m. or before noon or afternoon.
All right. Phyllis, give us a phone number first off. Allen's Flowers is here at 7th and Mojave. People can come here to the shop, beautiful shop here, and they can pick out some of the goodies and look at some things. In fact, I've got some intriguing things that we're going to talk about back here. You talked about ostrich eggs, so we're going to tease that just a little bit. We're going to talk about that. But if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
760-951-1477.
1477, 951-1477. Is there a website?
The Allens and Flowers.
Okay.
That's it.
It's allensflowersandplants.com. One word.
One word.
All right.
Allens and Flowers.
allensflowersandplants.com.
Okay. allensflowersandplants.com, all together, one word there. And then you can go to the website. You can call the number, the 951-1477, right? And they can get you that way, or come into the shop, take a look around, drop in, pick out what you need.
Same-day deliveries.
All right.
We can do them 15-minute deliveries if we have to. I mean, we've had that, then we got to hustle.
So we're talking about the racing business now, too. All right. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We're here, Allen's Flowers, 7th and Mojave in Victorville. We'll be right back. Ostrich eggs coming up next. What do I mean by that? Stick around, simply because you ought to know. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. 7th and Mojave is where we are, Allen's Flowers. And Phyllis, come on over here just for a second as we continue to talk. And we're going to have both of you step in. We've got back here something that is kind of unique. It was something that caught my eye when I walked in the door and walked this direction here in the shop. And we've got all these things. First off, people can get arrangements. They can get balloons. What all do you offer here?
Oh, teddy bears, candy. We offer fruit and gourmet baskets.
I've got to ask you, when you talk about those deliveries, come on over this way just for a little bit. How many deliveries a day?
I would say we do anywhere from 5 to 15, probably that range per day.
So that keeps everybody pretty well running.
You betcha we do. And we cover from Lucerne Valley to Wrightwood to Silver Lakes to Hesperia, Pinion Hills, Baldy Mesa, Victorville, Apple Valley. You name it, we're there.
Yeah, but if anybody needs a need that's outside the delivery area, you certainly handle that through the network then.
Yes, we have a wire service, which is Teleflora, and so we deliver all over the world.
So people can order through you, and it's going to be delivered on the other end, wherever that happens to be. Mom in New York, or somebody in Wisconsin, or somebody in England. It will happen.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we talked about ostrich eggs. Take a look at here, everybody. We've got quite an assortment here. Some of my favorites there, the Disney stuff, obviously, and a little bit, I see some fishing going on there. Is that a Gilligan's Island? Is that what that is, or what is that?
It is Gilligan's Island. There he is. So the skipper.
The skipper and Gilligan there, and probably Mary Ann, and I think the Harlem Globetrotters made an appearance at Gilligan's Island. How'd they get there and the rest had to stay? I never understood.
I don't know.
Anyway, ostrich eggs. How did you do this? How'd you get into that one?
Well, I'm just I love to paint, and I'm love to create, obviously, because I'm in the floral business.
Yeah.
So I just picked it up.
Well, ostrich eggs were something. How long have you been doing this then?
About 25 years.
Oh, have you?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been offering it as a product here in the store?
About 11.
Okay. Well, the ostrich egg, this is intriguing to me because you said you go to the farm. You actually go out here locally to an ostrich farm.
What is the name of that? Doug Osborne's ostrich farm in Ora Grande.
Okay.
And we get all of our eggs there, and wonderful guy.
Well, what is your process when you come back and prepare the eggs? You get the eggs how? They certainly don't look like this.
No, they come in a solid form, and they have a hole in the end, and they have the yolk is extracted from it when I get it. So I have to cut the doors and the hinges and things like that to put in it. Some of them light up, some of them play music.
All right. Now, the shell, as we see it here, is kind of an eggshell type look to it, as it would be. But is that the normal color of the shell?
It is the natural color of the shell.
This is all natural here. Obviously, you've added the beading here and the different type of work you're doing. But when you do this, like this one right here, for instance, how long would this take you to do?
It can take me up to a month.
1 month per egg.
Because I'm doing all different things in different times. In stages.
So you're working on multiples at a time?
Right, right.
What's your favorite one you've done for you?
I'm not sure.
You have one of these that you've kept that you really like?
I do have one that is actually an undersea one with turtles. I'm a turtle nut. I love turtles.
There's a turtle one right there, a little one with turtles in there. Winnie the Pooh here, and we've got Cinderella and so many more. What is that, a fishing one? Teapot here? Oh, made out of the ostrich egg. There it is. So you would attach this.
Mm-hmm. Attach the handle and attach this part and paint this, and it's a little teapot. All
right, well, people are going to want to know, since we're showing this here, what do these sell for? Give me a price range.
They start about $150. They're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but I know when I go to the egg artistry shows that they can go up into the neighborhood of $350, so you're getting them directly from me, so you get a price break on them.
And you told me these are an heirloom. These are things that I would collect, put away. Certainly I don't take this home to let kids play with. Something that I'm going to look at and enjoy and then pass on in the family, correct?
I have many customers that are the collectors, and they call me and say, now I want a Winnie the Pooh. In fact, these are sold. The Winnie Poohs are sold.
All right. Come on over. I got to ask you, are you involved in this part of the...
Well, we have a garage full of small stuff. Of course, I have my own garage full of car stuff, but she's got a garage full of small stuff. So, yeah, I'm involved in that respect.
Have you attempted any creativeness in this end?
No, I'm not that. I'm not a detailed person like she is.
All right. Well, certainly the ostrich eggs lend a whole different thing here. I would never have expected when I walked in the store today to see this, and certainly this is an enjoyable part of what I see.
And I went with her to the ostrich farm, and I know Doug very well, and so I at least help her haul them home anyway, if nothing else. But that's about all I do with it, right?
All right. Well, that's a little bit more about the shop. We're going to learn a little bit more. We're going to go behind the scenes, so to speak. We're going to look in the refrigerator and show you some of those beautiful arrangements. It's all set, ready to go. And we're even going to put a little arrangement together so you can see how it's done. Simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. Allen's Flowers is where we are, right here in Victorville. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. Allen's Flowers is where we are. If you need information, you can call the phone number, 760-951-1477. And give us that website one more time.
allensflowersandplants.com, one word.
Okay. Let's reintroduce all of you. You are?
I'm Jim Skirvin. I'm the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
And the driver.
And the owner.
Okay, and owner, husband. My title is husband.
And boss is?
I'm Phyllis Skirvin.
Yeah. Now, we kind of preface this, if you joined the show late, graduates, 1968, Victor Valley High School, right up the street here. Graduates, even set next to each other. Married, how many children?
We have, between us, we have 10.
10 children.
Right.
How many grandchildren?
17.
Wow. Does it ever get tough spending all that time together, especially in business?
No, we've worked together for 18 years, Phyllis and I, right? She does all the flowers, I do all the other stuff. So
Well,
we never get tired of it.
She's doing the flowers. We've actually come back here where she's actually working, doing an arrangement for us. And this one is called what?
An ice cream soda.
All right. And you're doing your specialty here. So far, it looks like a vanilla malt or...
It's an ice cream soda.
All right, ice cream soda. So we're here kind of at the soda fountain, if you will, and she's putting this together. But I've got to tell you a little bit about their lives and the outreach that they do for other people. Because, Phyllis, you do certain other things, too. What do you do?
I'm an ordained minister, and I go out and preach out at Victory Outreach in Helendale, California.
How do you find time for all these hobbies?
I don't know. The Lord is good.
And I use hobbies because she beams with a smile, and it looks like she loves it all the time.
That's right, and she's almost done with her doctorate, too. So that was, she's a full-time student. She's a full-time florist. She's a full-time wife. She's a full-time minister.
That means the support system has to be just totally excellent. So what do you have? Your doctorate in husbandology.
Husbandry.
Not the study of being a good husband. Well, I don't know what that is. I'm still trying to do that, too, for my wife and kids and family. In fact, the grandkids are here. You saw Caden in the opening of the show. And look at this thing come together. How long do these normally take you when you do these?
5 minutes? 3 minutes?
Yeah?
Yeah.
And the bigger arrangements, if somebody calls and they have a special need today, a birth maybe earlier in the afternoon, they can get flowers from you and you can put something together.
Within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long. I have the hands have been trained for a while. So.
Just the knack, that I couldn't even see it in my mind to envision. I just don't have the mind's eye.
I don't have that either, sir. I can do a lot of things, but I cannot do this kind of stuff.
Well, what does your normal day entail for you? When do you get up and how do things start when you have your own business? Now, talk about that.
I get up at about 6 o'clock, and usually by 7 o'clock I've left the house, and I stop in the Hesperia store, check things there, and then come here and I start delivering. Usually by 8 o'clock I'm on the road to deliver, just to make sure, because we usually have funerals, we have things like that. So make sure that we're ready for the day. I'm here at 8 o'clock.
And that's what it takes to have you've got to be an all-around person to make it happen in your own business, don't you?
That's exactly right. And sometimes I get off at 4 o'clock. Sometimes I get off at 7 o'clock. So it just depends what we got going on that day. But we're committed.
Let's talk about Phyllis, the economics of everything, because people talk about that the last couple of years. Things have changed a little bit. How's it been for this type of business?
Well, things have slowed down a little, so we've had to adjust our prices and adjust our buying and things like that. But we're doing okay, and I think we'll recover.
Well, it's not. You used a term that's ironic to me, but people have had to adjust their finances. Maybe they do one less movie a month, or whatever it took, or whatever their experiences were. But they still entertain themselves, and they still will get something special for somebody special. Look at what she's got here, what she just made for us in the matter of just about 3.5 minutes or so. Isn't that amazing? This type of thing here, what flowers do we have in there? Carnations.
It has carnations. It has two different colors. It has white carnations. It has variegated, two-tone carnations. And then it has a small rose in the top and a plastic container and a bow, and that's it.
All right. How much cost do we have in doing something like this? And I don't want you to talk about your cost. If you were to sell this out to the public today, what would the price for this be?
They run around $24.99 to $29.99, depending on how it's going.
Oh, so this is still very affordable for somebody to come get and take it to that special somebody, or say, here, we hope you feel better, and maybe tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Flowers always make you feel better. Always make me feel better.
Well, I walked into the refrigerator back there with Jim a little bit ago just to take a look back there and get that smell, and I love that. Maybe people call me morbid. We did a show not too long ago at Rose Hills Mortuary and Cemetery in Whittier. And I still like going to the flower section. It still just has that certain something about it.
That's right. It does. When you've worked here as long as we have, we don't smell it anymore. We don't detect that. But we know it's there. People come in and they say that, but we're just used to it, I guess, if you
Even first thing in the morning when you first walk into the building?
No, not. Unless it's a really fragrant rose or stargazer lily or something like that. Other than that, we don't smell it.
What about you, Phyllis?
No, I don't either.
No, just
we've just
totally oblivious to it.
We'll have the grandkids smell our clothes when we hug them, and they go, "Oh, you smell like flowers," and I go, "Do?" Yeah, but
all right.
Yeah, we don't.
Well, real quick before we wrap up this show here today, we're at Allen's Flowers, 7th and Mojave here in Victorville. Real simple to find. If you need information on it, again, the website is
AllensFlowersandPlants.com, one word.
And the phone number, Phyllis?
Is 760-951-1477.
Well, we are going to wrap up this show, and we hate to leave the flowers. They're always something that make you feel good. But we are going to be right back to wrap up this show, and we'll hope you'll stick around with us, simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back. Well, that's going to put the wraps on another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. And take a look, everybody. I've got him here with me. Here's Caden. You've seen him on a lot of shows. And here's Connor. Welcome to the program, Connor. And we're here at Allen's Flowers, 7th and Mojave in Victorville. Thanks to everybody here, Jim and Phyllis, and everybody here at Allen's Flowers for supporting the school district and all the local businesses here in town. Allen's Flowers, everybody, you can go to their website, check them out. Come on by, say hello, check out some of these great flowers, all here at Allen's Flowers. Again, 7th and Mojave in Victorville. And why did we come? We brought them out here, the whole family. It's a family deal, and we're having a great time. Flowers is what it's all about, simply because at Allen's Flowers, you ought to know. See you next time, everybody.